Hello everyone, welcome to the LetsRun.com pre-2017 World Cross Country Championship preview show. We're on the grounds of the
Kololo Independence Ground.
Thank you, John.
Had some trouble pronouncing it, but I think we got it.
Just had a conversation with Seb Coe. I think maybe we'll be able to still see him. Anyways, we're going to briefly break down the men's and women's races for you. Maybe talk a little bit about the historic first ever 4x2K race, and just briefly get everybody up to speed. Hopefully by now you've read our 4,500 word men's preview.
Is it that long, really? I got to trim those down. I don't know if people have time for that in the year 2017.
But since we are in Africa, where it's a little bit of the machismo culture, we'll start with the men. John, break it down for us.
Yeah, well, I think the most interesting thing in this race, Robert, is Geoffrey Kamworor, and basically, is he healthy? How far along is he? Because as I noted in our preview, I mean, you look at what he's done the last few years, he's simply a phenomenal athlete. He's won the last 2 half marathon world championships. He's the reigning champion in this race, and he made it look pretty easy when he ran away from Ben Kuroki late in Guyang 2 years ago. And he was also in 2015 silver medalist on the track in the 10,000 meters and the runner-up in the New York City Marathon. So, he's a guy who's tailor-made for cross country. He's very strong. He's not afraid to push the pace. But the question is, what kind of Geoffrey Kamworor are we going to get? Because last year I talked to his agent Valentine Trau, and he said last year he was dealing with sort of a lung infection, and that wasn't diagnosed properly until after the Olympics. And then, we've heard, even speaking to a few people on the ground here, we're not entirely sure if he's 100% right now. He didn't win the Kenyan trials, and when I talked to Trau, he said that was because, he hadn't really gotten in his speed work. He's had about 5 weeks since then to work on that, but, we just don't know. And if he's not the guy, he's not who we're used to seeing from Geoffrey Kamworor, it becomes a much more open race.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the top talents in the sport, and, in recent years, the very, very top talents have not been showing up. If you go back 15, 20 years ago, Haile Gebrselassie, Paul Turgot's the very best. That would be like Mo Farah coming to this meet. Nowadays, those types of talents haven't been showing up, so he's here. If he's on his game, he's going to win, but that's the question mark. Is he on his game? We've heard different things from different people, so I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Team-wise, Kenya's lost the last 2 championships, but it seems to be that you think they're going to be back on top this year.
I think they are a better team than Ethiopia. I mean, you look at Leonard Barsaton, who was, the Kenyan champion, and he's in good shape right now. The only issue working against him, and this is, take this for whatever you want to, whatever it's worth, Kenyan champions generally don't come here and win. Normally it'll be, we've had a Kenyan champion for the last several years in the men's race, but it's usually someone who is down a little bit further down in the trials. So I think with those 2 up front, I think they have a very, very powerful 1-2 with him and Kamworor. And then, you look at Ethiopia, there's definitely some talented guys on their team. Mukhtar Edris, he's run, he was the only man last year who broke 13 minutes on the track twice for 5,000 meters. He was the bronze medalist in this race back in 2015. He's very good, and I know he struggled, but like Kenya, there is a question, with Kamworor, just like Kamworor, there's a question with Mukhtar Idris. He was only 40th, I believe, at the Ethiopian Championships, and afterwards, there was a release I saw in the IAF preview mentioned he was sort of dealing with illness or some sort of injury. That's very, very vague. We don't really know what's up. So if he's not 100%, Ethiopia is really going to have a lot of trouble, because their back-end depth, there are definitely some question marks about those guys.
So it seems like more question marks for Ethiopia than Kenya. And then Team USA, we're led by 4 Kenyan-born runners. They look fantastic. Definitely could be in the hunt there for both a team and possibly individual medal. We've not medaled individually since Alberto Salazar in 1982.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think this U.S. team, I mean, you might think about it, and a couple of years ago, you're like, oh man, there's no Galen Rupp, there's no Ritz, there's no Ben True, there's none of these guys. But if you look at their roster, we've got 4 of the top 6 from the Olympic Trials 10,000. This is a 10,000 meter race. So, it might not be the U.S.'s A+ team, but I put it maybe at an A- or a B+.
Wow.
It's pretty solid.
Last time I checked, True and Ritz didn't make the Olympic team last year, and 3 or 4 of these guys did.
You're absolutely right, Robert. So I think, and Korea, he's as hot as any runner runner in the world has been so far this year, and he's already shown if he's still there at the end. I mean, I talked to him, I talked to his coach Scott Simmons. His game plan is pretty simple. It's just to hang on to the leaders and try not to get dropped.
Now, the wild card, Paul Chalima, Olympic silver medalist, 5,000 is here. We did bump into Scott Simmons. Did anyone think to ask him, is there any way that Paul's going to run in the 10K race instead of the 4x2K relay? Did we ask?
Well, that's how we got the information about that. We ran into him in E10 last week, and he essentially said that, Paul's in great 10K shape. He's ready to go right now. But, he didn't run the trials race. He ran a track race in North Carolina on that same weekend, and that meant that obviously, he's not eligible for selection to the 10K. That being said, he's the Olympic silver medalist. He's in great shape. He's here in Uganda, so I'm sure he wants to run, but that would require one of the guys on the team taking, a step back and essentially giving up their spot. And I think anyone who qualified and traveled all the way out to Uganda to run, they're not going to want to give up that spot.
Well, they can still run, but it would be in the relay.
In the relay. And the relay, that's the other issue why, I think if Paul was in a relay team that had a real chance at winning a medal, or, preferably a gold medal, he would, he'd be all for that. But if you look at the squad they've got next to him, it's Corey Leslie, Eleanor Fulton, and Marissa Howard. And, Corey Leslie, I think some people may know him, pretty good miler and steeplechaser. But if you look at the two women, Howard and Fulton, I'm not sure how many, even fairly serious, American distance fans really know who those women are. And, I think it's good that they're out here running and competing, and props to them for that. But the U.S. could certainly be sending a stronger team in this event, and if they were doing that, I think Chalima would be more inclined. He's going to run the race tomorrow, but he wouldn't be looking to maybe run the 10K.
Yeah, the 4x2K, when I first heard about it, I wasn't that thrilled. Now that I'm here, I'm kind of excited about it. It got Genzebe Dibabe to show up. It got Asbel Kiprop to show up. The way I'm viewing the 4x2K is it would be a great halftime show. Why don't we run the women first? Put that sort of as the spice, the halftime show. That can be the Janet Jackson show, and then run the men at the end. But
maybe not the Janet Jackson halftime show.
Well,
have people keep their singlets on in this one. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. And the other thing is the teams get to pick the order. So you look at. You could see Asbel Kiprop versus Genzebe Dibabe on the anchor leg, with Kiprop trying to run it down. I mean, how good would that be?
It'd be pretty amazing to see the men racing the women and coming back from a big deficit. Speaking of Ethiopia, it looks like we've got a couple over there. Before we get to the women's race, I think we're going to head over to the pit to take a look at the conditions, see how it's doing given the rainfall last night. Before we talk about the women's race, let's talk about the course, John. I've been to a lot of world cross-country races. This may be the flattest course. This is a former airstrip, even though Kampala is the city of 7 hills. But that doesn't mean that it's totally easy. We've got the pit, and let's take a look at it.
Whoop. It is filled up a little bit with some standing water. It was raining pretty heavily.
And it looks like it might rain again tonight.
Yeah, and there's rain in the forecast tomorrow, but we have, we talked to Sebco and some of the IAF people. They said they are going to drain this by tomorrow, by the time the races go off. And they're going to put some fresh earth on it as well.
Yep, I'm a little bit disappointed in that. I actually talked to the engineer. He says engineer on his back of his shirt. That's how I knew who he was. And I tried to offer him a large sum of money by Uganda standards, $5, to keep the water in here. He said, no, we're taking it out. I said, why? I said, I want to keep it in there. It makes it tougher. And he said, no, I've been told to take it out. So if you look over here to the right, actually, they've got this over there because it's going to rain tonight. That's the ground, the mud that they're going to use dirt they're going to use to fill up the course. I said, well, how are you going to get the water out? And labor is cheap here. They're actually going to do it the old-fashioned way, by hand. So scoop it out. But I definitely think, John, I mean, it's not. There's a lot of turns, 180-degree turns. Not totally a rhythm running course, but it is pretty flat. So
yeah, I think the couple keys in terms of rhythm is there's that short downhill over there where you don't really have a lot of leeway. If you take it too quickly, you will run straight off the course and into the street. So what you got to do is pick your angle and make sure you gauge your speed a little bit there. And then the other thing, there are 2 sets of 2 logs on the course. and it's a little awkward to run right in between them. I've been watching runners run on their warm-ups and strides and stuff, and seeing a variety of approaches. Some of them will try to step off the first log and just hurdle the second. Some will run in between and then jump using the second hurdle to propel themselves. Then some will run, as Weldon demonstrated yesterday for us, they'll just take one step in between the two logs. But that's that's something. Logs is not a novel concept on a World Cross Country course, so I think the runners will handle that okay. But yeah, as you said, this isn't as rhythm breaking as you would have seen in previous editions of World Cross.
So let's talk about the women's race, John. I'm a little jet lagged. I don't know much, but from reading your preview, I have a bold prediction to make.
Okay, let's hear it.
From what all I know is, folks, it looks like it's going to be a big day for...
What is it? Who could it be?
Team Kenya, folks. This is the unofficial World Cross Country t-shirt. If you want one, send us a message on Twitter, or actually send us an email. Contact us in the upper right-hand corner of the page. I will buy it to you. $7. Maybe I should charge you for profit.
No, wait, Robert. I thought you said you had a bold prediction. The Kenyan women winning team gold is about the least bold prediction you could possibly make.
Well, considering my brain's not working too well, still a little bit tired, I meant total domination. I'm thinking a sweep of the medals. They've got, they've got an Olympic champion on the team. True or false?
True.
Faith Kipyegon, who also is two-time world junior cross country champion. Admittedly, it wasn't 10K back then. She's a former African champion in cross country. She won the Kenyan trials 2 years ago. Didn't get to actually run worlds because she was hurt. You got a 29.53 woman on there.
Yep. Alice Aprot. Yep. You've also got Agnes Tirop, the defending champion. We sort of just even, we mentioned her in the preview, but you can almost see she hasn't been running that well the last 2 years, and you just forget this woman won the entire race, 2 years ago, and she may not even score, and Kenya could still win in a landslide.
So they're going to win the team title, but which Ethiopians, what other women could take home an individual medal?
Well, so there's two Ethiopians who I really think are dangerous in this race. One of them is Sember Teferi, who was, she was a medalist 2 years ago in Giyang, second behind Tirop, and she's very good. She was the silver medalist in the World Championships in 2015 over 5,000 meters. She beat Gonzebe Dibaba in that race. Everyone thought Dibaba was invincible, and then Ayana took her down. Well, Teferi actually got the silver. So she is going to be really tough, and she's been in good form. And then you've also got Belenesh Oljiro, who is a World Championship medalist on the track. She's, not quite on, I don't think she's quite on Teferi's level for this race, but she's going to be pretty good. So I would think that Teferi probably breaks up the Kenyan sweep, but it wouldn't be a shock at all if Kenya went 1, 2, 3, which has never been done in this race. In the women's senior race. So I think that could be very interesting. And then, in terms of other women to watch, we're talking about steeplechasers a little earlier, and you've got Ruth Jabet, who is the Olympic steeplechase champion and world record holder, and she's running for Bahrain. Bahrain has a pretty decent team. They've also got Rose Chalimo, who was 8th in the Olympic marathon. So those two together, I think they're probably the favorites for the bronze medal. Probably won't get Ethiopia for the silver, but Ruth Jabet, who knows? She's obviously very talented. She's run well under 9 minutes in the 3K steeple, so she might be a dark horse for the individual win.
All right, now I think it's time for us to put our necks out on the line and make some predictions. We'll bring in my brother and Let's Run fellow Let's Run co-founder Weldon Johnson for his predictions. So I'll start so I can go hold the camera for you guys.
Okay.
Men's, well, first of all, 4x2K, don't know a whole lot about it. Going with Team Kenya. Got Kipper up on the team. I think that's a fairly safe bet.
Yeah.
Individually, well, now let's go to the men's race. Women's race, I'm going to say Team Kenya dominates. I'm going to say they don't actually. I'm going to change my prediction from 5 minutes ago of saying they sweep all 3 medals. I'm going to say they get 2 out of 3. How about that? Mm-hmm. Men's race, Kenya's going to get the team gold. Who's going to win the individual gold? How about my long shot pick, Josh Cheptegei of Uganda?
This is not a long shot, Robert.
Josh Cheptegei, folks. Have you ever heard of that name? I bet you haven't. I have. 20-year-old, 6th in the Olympic 10K. And when I was speaking to Steven Kiprotich in a one-on-one exclusive this morning at the press conference, after the press conference, it's an inside joke for you guys there. But he said, look, he's in really good shape, and he thinks he's got a good shot at a medal. I mean, 6'6" in the Olympic 10K at age 20, former world junior 10,000 champion. This course is pretty flat. It's going to be like a regular 10K. He's motivated, to get that. But and if he got that, it would be so huge, because what we've learned in the past from the Africans is they view almost the senior individual gold as the one thing they want most, more than anything, more than the team gold, more than that. In their minds, someone once said to my brother, the male senior champion, that's the lion. He rules the jungle. So Cheptegei, that would be big. That's going to be my bold pick.
And that would be huge for the Ugandans, because they're trying. The organizing committee is trying to drum up a lot of excitement for this meet. This is quite possibly the biggest sporting event that Uganda has ever hosted. So they want to have a good showing, and if Cheptegei wins the big race, that's going to be the fans are going to be going delirious.
Those guys over there will be going nuts. Hopefully these people can scale these fences and not have to pay. I mean, they're charging about $3, I think, to get in, which is
that's 10,000 Ugandan shillings.
That's a lot, because most people here will survive on $1.25 a day. So in Mombasa, people just climbed over the fence and got in. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But I think they need either they could get a bronze maybe in the team competition.
Absolutely threat. Yeah,
ahead of the U.S. In terms of the U.S., God, I'd love to see our first individual medals since 1982. I'm gonna say we don't get both. So does Uganda get third? Actually, I'm going to say no individual medal for the U.S., but we get the team bronze ahead of Uganda. So those are my predictions. I will now switch places with Weldon so he can make some with you. So signing off for you guys.
All right. And in terms of my picks, I think Robert, I'm not going to pick exactly the same thing, but I think he's right. I think the U.S. will get in the men's senior race either a individual or a team medal. They could well get both. I mean, if Korea gets an individual medal, that's certainly going to help their chances of getting a team medal. I'm going to pick Leonard Bosseton for the win. I think he's going to end the streak of Kenyan champs not winning World Cross. This guy, I mean, he's ready to go. I think this is going to be his time to break out. In the women's and men's, I'm going to make this nice and simple, picking Kenya to win all of the races in the senior level, relay, senior men's, senior women's. I think the teams are just too strong. And then a women's individual battle, I'm going with Alice Aprot. She ran 29:53, which was the 5th fastest 10,000 ever at the Olympics last year. She didn't medal with that time, which is quite phenomenal, but she was the one driving the pace early, and without her, it's very possible that world record doesn't get broken by Alma Zayana. So she's been running well. She didn't win the Kenyan championships. That was Irene Cheptegei, but she's got what you look for in a good cross-country runner: the strength, the confidence in her ability to push the pace, and her 10,000 PR on this 10,000 meter course way faster than anyone else in the field. And I'll hand off to Weldon Johnson to make your selections.
Saving the best for last, ladies and gentlemen. I'll start with the women, John. I don't know. I'm not necessarily picking who I think's going to win. I'm going with who I want to win, and Alice Aprot, she's the one for me. Her brother, Jeffrey Kamworor, won.
Joseph Abuya.
Excuse me. Oh, I'm tired. I'm getting ahead of my men's pick. Excuse me. I'm already getting into my men's pick. Joseph Abuya came out of nowhere to win, win World Cross 2010. I mean, it was like a total shocker. And there aren't a lot of runners. I think he's from the Turkana region. Aren't a lot of runners from there. And now there's more. And I mean, she's totally established herself last year at the Olympics, so it wouldn't really be a surprise. But a brother-sister combo, I think, would be really cool. So I'm going to go with her. The Kenyan women, obviously. There's the Ugandan team.
No one has run through this pit all day.
On the men's side, I had Kamworor's name in my head. I want him to win. Outside of Mo Farah, he's the greatest distance runner on the planet. So I like to see legends be born. We saw Paul Turgot today. He's a legend in my mind for winning this race. And Kamworor could get another one. That would be great. So one thing you guys haven't talked about is these fans over here, and I think it is going to be pretty epic tomorrow. They put up fencing today to sort of block people from getting there, and there's a hole in the fence right there, and so just 30 people have been standing there sort of, talking the whole time.
Yeah, we saw the Ugandan team run by. They got a nice little round of applause as they were warming up.
All I know about the 4x2K relay is somehow I hope Kiprop is racing like Dibaba on the last.
That would
Actually, not the probably wouldn't be same leg, but at the end,
who
somehow
knows?
that would
Who
be
knows
just
how
great.
they're gonna pick that
I
strategy?
want mixed genders racing on the final leg, just 'cause I think it'd be more interesting.
Yeah.
And it's just 50-50 kind of what happens. And I think one thing, a big question mark for me is how do the U.S. men do? I think it's great, essentially, that pretty much with the exception of Galen Rupp, he's got a good excuse. We've got the best 10K guys here. And in the past, that hasn't always been the case. The men got the silver 4 years ago, and a huge surprise. This year, if they got a silver, it would be a surprise. But to hear Leonard Career talking about going for Team Gold, Gold is...
I don't even think it would be that much of a surprise if they got the silver medal, to be honest.
So, it should be exciting. I'm super glad I'm here. The cross country in Mombasa was one of the coolest races I've ever seen. This one can be anywhere like that. It'll be worth it. So, thanks for tuning in. Check back tomorrow. Spread the word. Wake up early. Find a way to watch it. This is LetsRun.com signing off.